Welcome, everyone, to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and I have a guest tonight that we're going to talk to here in a minute. But I wanted to tell everybody that I want to keep the Marylanders in our prayers that passed away with the Key Bridge. I watched it be built as a kid. I used to live in Dundalk, and it changed the landscape originally when they built it. And now it changed it again, and it just looks so different. Friends from there have been sending me pictures and stuff. And thank God the people moved as fast as they did, and it wasn't a worse disaster. Thank God it happened in the middle of the night. It was very sad. And to let you guys know also, next week on Monday, I will not be doing the Paranormal Pride. I will be recovering from surgery, and I hope to be back the following week, but we'll let you guys know when the time comes. And if anybody saw something go across that way, it was a bug. We have a fly in the house, so it was not an orb. But I'd like to welcome Jeep to the show. So thank you so much for coming on. I know that you guys, you're part of a trio that comes on Paranormal Perspectives TV.
Yep.
And Christopher Pittman is a longtime listener and a good friend. And so he's one of your co-hosts, and your other co-host is Reverend Jack.
Yep. Yeah, Reverend Jack Howell.
And so Chris couldn't come on tonight because he has a standing meeting, the first of every month with the Dewey Hotel, where he's part of the management kind of thing, so like a docent. And and Reverend Jack couldn't be here because of the horrible weather that's happening down in your part of the area.
Yep.
So, and I know a lot of people, a lot of listeners, Susan Roberts for one, her and Mike are in Springfield, Missouri. So they're probably going to be seeing some of it too. So, and like we told you in the green room, if you need to leave because it gets bad, just let us know and we'll get you out of there. So if you start hearing sirens, you just tell us and off you go.
You got it. Yeah, Tulsa's not really going through much. They're basically saying over and over again, we're not expecting major storms here. I think it's just the way the storms float. They're going to float through Missouri and around Tulsa in the process. It looks like, but you never know.
Yeah. It looks bad. I mean, there were some places. Let's see, Chesterfield had 2.5-inch hail in Missouri.
Wow,
and that's not too far from Ron's mom.
Yeah. So goodness.
So I'm not expecting her to be listening tonight.
Oklahoma City, they had pictures on the news here in Tulsa showing boxes of hail in their stuff. I'm like, geez. I heard a whole bunch of people talking about that earlier today. Everyone's been talking about it for the last 3 or 4 hours. And
I bet.
You know, Tornado Alley, when they talk about 3 or 4 hours, it's going to be a storm.
Yeah. I remember driving on hail.
Yeah. Really?
From South Kansas City area to our house. And it was like driving on marbles.
Wow.
They don't realize how hard. I mean, if it can knock you out, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. This area is the only area I know that gets as much kind of weather as we do. Like, it's amazing to see. We've had firestorms in Kansas, Oklahoma area. We've had tornadoes. We've had earthquakes. The only time a hurricane comes through here is usually the end of the front, if it's a 5, but other than that, we get everything else.
St. Louis has an active tornado warning.
I know, right?
Yeah, Ron's watching it. So
really? So that storm's coming through pretty hardcore.
Yeah. St. Charles and South Wentzville.
Wow.
Got hit earlier. So but again, all across I-70, we've been, we've lived in the area until now. So it's sad. It's hard to watch. But yeah, you guys get Texas, Oklahoma, you guys get bigger hail I mean, just
Yeah.
because everything's bigger down there doesn't mean it has to be.
Right.
But for some reason, we didn't move to Dallas area because of fire ants.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the reasons. The other reasons is that they get everything. They get
Oh
ice,
yeah.
they don't get snow very much, but they get ice and
Yeah.
thick ice. And we witnessed that a couple times. And then you guys get 100 degrees in the summer or 120 in the summer. And then you still get, you don't usually get -20, but it can get pretty cold.
Yeah.
But it's just crap. No wonder it's, it has to be no income tax to get people to stay there.
Well, actually, Oklahoma, I don't think they've done that yet. They were voting on it last I heard. But Texas, it's no income tax. It makes sense.
Yep. Same as here in Florida. Yeah. That's part of the reason why we moved here.
Makes sense.
Got an instant raise on my job.
Yeah,
couldn't get one any other way.
Yeah.
So how did you guys decide to come up with Paranormal Perspectives TV?
So we had a situation. It's actually interesting because Chris and I kind of knew each other. We kind of knew our names more than anything else. And then through a chain of events, we had some people that were trespassing, doing more urban adventuring and investigating. And we had some situations occur where paranormal groups were coming across. You know how we in paranormal groups always have a problem of trying to prove validity in recordings and evidence. And sometimes in those kind of productions, you could easily make a mistake. You could easily make something look completely bogus by the way you stand next to equipment, by whatever happens. And through a turn of events, that's what happened. And he and I began talking about our perspectives in paranormal and the etiquette that needs to happen. And we started talking, and Jack, Chris, and I would spend hours a night talking. And we finally went, why don't we do a podcast and do this? And so that's what started us doing it.
There's some really good people out there that you guys would really enjoy, I think, talking to that have unique perspectives on the paranormal. You've got, from our network alone, you've got Chris Houston.
Yeah.
Great perspective on validity. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we've got David Glidden, who comes on my show quite frequently, and he talks about paranormal and paratainment is what we call it.
Oh, that's good. That's a good phrase.
And then he's also a filmmaker, so he knows about the tricks that people sometimes use to make it look more paranormal than it is.
Yep.
Things that things like that people need to hear the truth. Not, I see those orbs on your picture. It looks like a snowstorm. There must be hundreds of ghosts there. No, it could be dust.
Right.
Sometimes people need to hear that. But there's times that we know we can't say it's dust.
Right.
We can't say it's water.
Right.
But we know.
Yeah.
So has anybody done that to you guys yet? Sent you photos and said, "Hey, this is what I'm seeing."
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about pareidoia or anything like that on the show?
Oh yeah. We had Bill Slevin was on last week, and we talked to him about how it's just ironic because the amount of people who come to you and say, "See, I have this." And I think a lot of the problem that you deal with is the number of people who, the thing about the paranormal is, as investigators, you have science, and then you have science who looks at the outliers and says, okay, those are not part of our thing. Those are irrationals. Well, that's what paranormal studies. We're studying all the outliers. So we're studying the things that, why did gravity not happen there? Why did, we're studying things to figure out what transpired. And it's it's almost a fad with a lot of the video stuff that came out and the craze. But you have so many new people, but we don't have someone who gives you a certification or gives you a degree and says, congratulations, you're now a paranormal investigator. So you have a lot of new people.
Actually, there is.
The Warren
I can give
Foundation.
you names.
But when you look at the history of it, you know what I mean? Like there are some places that have started to do it more, but we've been battling so long to get that kind of support. So when you compare the number of people involved in it, you know, the ones that have taken it seriously over decades compared to the ones that are getting into it, there's a huge amount of people that are just getting into it. So you have that combination of people who see they're aware of what an orb is to their understanding. But a lot of times what I find is a lot of the newer people don't research enough to validate how their equipment works. They don't research enough to understand, you know, this could be an orb, but let me explain how that works. And so you get a lot of people that do that. I actually, when Chris mentioned being with Dewey Hospital, I used to be a volunteer at Overholser Mansion for 3 or 4 years in Oklahoma City. And we would have a Scary Tales event where they'd talk to us. And you'd always have somebody come up and say, I think this is possible orb. And I always remained objective to it. I can't prove it's not. I can't prove it is. I can tell you what I think it probably is. And the only way to go further, test it more. And so I've always tried to educate people to always consider, here's my perspective. Why don't you go test that and see if that works? See if it comes back up again. Because it'll help people.
Only way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way is, does this happen every time? What are the conditions? Am I taking this picture after the dew has fallen?
Yeah.
Is there, I hate to say it, but here in Florida, our cars are covered in pollen.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
What
and
are
bugs.
The odds?
And you've got gnats, you know, I mean, little gnats that you don't even see could hit from a light refraction simple.
Just like when I was talking, something went behind me and I saw it and I knew it was a fly. It happens all the time.
I started giggling because I saw what you said.
So we got Steve. He goes, why was the sudden onset of orbs at the same time as widespread use of digital cameras?
It's good point.
So
it's good point.
We had a lot of orbs in 35 millimeter cameras. I mean, there's some pictures of, it was really strange. Ron's family, after his grandma died, they took a picture of everybody and there was one orb in the picture. None of the others, just this one picture. Yeah. And then somebody else in the family passed away. And the next time they took a picture, there were 2 orbs. And then 3. Cool.
Wow.
And I thought I just saw a light go by. It has to be from outside. Sorry. See, got to debunk it now, because if I don't do it now, you know, somebody's going to come back later on and go, she has ghosts in her house. No, I have ghosts in my yard. I don't have ghosts in my house. They're in my yard. So,
but answer to that question too. Another thought is, if you watch the amount of orbs, you're going to see now more people, because of their phones, having orbs. So I think it's part of technology. Digital cameras made photography a little more abundant than film.
Well, we had to hunt it down. We had to go get the camera.
Yeah.
We had to get the film.
Right.
I still have film I haven't developed.
Yeah. Okay? My mom found one of the ones I did like decades ago. She said, I found this in a trunk, and she said she got developed. I'm like, that was like 40 years ago.
Yeah. And some of them come out really good and some don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everybody's got a camera everywhere they go, and they're using it for everything under the sun.
Yeah.
In fact, they're going to be using it for the sun on Monday.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to be in a CAT scan machine. I'm not going to see a damn thing. So during that, and it's the stuff that's really weird is that they're calling for, we have to have everybody needs to load up on all the stuff that they need just in case.
Yeah. It's interesting
the 2017
how
one wasn't this bad.
Right.
Okay. It wasn't bad. They did not tell everybody, duck and cover.
Right.
And now
Yeah.
they are.
It's amazing how many of the TikTok videos I'll see about the doomsday theories behind this and the concepts of what's going to happen in comparison. Like you said, years ago, it didn't happen much. Well, I never saw them much. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
Well, in 2017, in August, there was where we lived, not far from where we lived, there was totality in Atchison, Kansas. And we were tour guides at the Sally House at the time. And a couple friends of ours were filming a film there, and we were their helpers. Okay. We were the liaisons. So we were in I was in the Sally House during totality. Ron was outside.
Yeah.
And so we experienced it. And the worst thing there was a line of people trying to leave town. Had to wait extra 10 minutes to get ice cream at Dairy Queen. So what?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we went to Dairy Queen, was not to be in the line of cars that were leaving town. So, we were prepared for that. But of course, you couldn't find a place to stay. We ended up sleeping on a friend's floor during the night before the eclipse. Yeah. I don't understand why they're doing this. I told him, I said, we see the little clock on the bottom of the weather channel that keeps saying the countdown. Okay.
Yep.
When that hits 0, I will be in that CAT scan machine having surgery. That is the exact time of my surgery.
Wow.
And so them having all these doomsday things are just irritating me.
Yeah.
And now it's got me worried that something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
So everybody out there, pray during that nothing bad happens.
Yeah, especially for you though. I mean, that's a big thing.
Out of all places that I could be,
right?
When they said the 8th to me back in January, I was like, "That's the day of the eclipse." I don't know why I even thought about it, other than they said April 8th.
That's wild, huh?
But yeah, I hope I don't have a NDE.
NDE.
Near death experience. I don't have one.
Yeah, I do business analysis full time, so I hear acronyms all the time, and I'm like, okay, what do those letters stand for?
Okay, so OOB, out of body experience. Right. So it's OOBE.
Death would be all right. You get something to talk about.
If I die, I'm gonna have something to talk about.
Near death.
Yeah. That's why I'd like to talk to some people that did die and came back.
So if you had near death and then became an out of body, would you have a NDOOB?
Be interesting, wouldn't it? Tom says I got a pack of ramen noodles and a can of water. He said,
"That's all you need right now." Yeah, exactly. So, Twinkies will last a lifetime.
Yeah, they're nuclear fallout food. We actually have some Twinkies.
See, there you go.
Just in case. We have little Debbie's too, just in case.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, have to have a little variety.
Yeah, it's like somebody said, when the housefly doesn't land on it, it's edible, but it might not be good for you for that long a time.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
yeah.
So how many shows have you guys had so far on your?
We have had so many. 2.
I can't even count.
Yeah. 1, 2, 2. I feel like Sesame Street.
And I'll be on the 25th.
Awesome. Okay.
And probably with Ron. So
Good.
So you guys will have to tune in then and see what Ron and I have to talk about. I don't know what it'll be.
Who knows?
Christopher asked me what I wanted to talk about. I said, I don't care. I'll talk about anything. Even if I don't know anything about it, I'll make it up as I go.
Yeah. Well, the conversation, that's all it's about. It's about sitting there. It's like sitting at Cracker Barrel on the front patio. You sit there with a rocking chair and talk to each other. That's pretty much what it is. Just find a topic.
But you can't do that.
No.
It's too loud.
No, yeah, true. Especially in front of Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, they play the country music very loud. But now
Yes.
you can get liquor there. Did you know that? You can get mimosas.
So I was at Waverly last week, and we stopped at Cracker Barrel on the way back. And I remember them mentioning that, and I didn't look to see what they're. Oh, when they said that, I went, "What?" They said, "Yeah, you can." I don't
Yeah.
know. That's a trip.
Yeah, we've eaten there twice in the last couple of weeks in Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
So
Well, if you can't,
there's one
if
here.
you're going to get liquor like that, Cracker Barrel moonshine, that'd be tempting. I mean, the name and the theme behind it.
I just thought it was created by white people. No.
I'm with you.
I'm sorry. I have to be silly sometimes.
I mean, it is Southern Company. It wasn't Tennessee.
Yeah, I tell you, some of the best meals I've eaten have been at Cracker Barrel. I have to admit.
Yeah. Shoney's was good too. Shoney's. There's still a few of those left.
Yes, and there's some I wouldn't eat at to save my life. There's quite a few. There was one in Corydon, Indiana.
Yeah.
And it's a big boys Shoney. So
okay.
It's a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
And
cool.
So when you guys went, did you come from the south or did you come across 64 when you went to Waverly?
Well, I lived in Nashville for 13 years and lived in Atlanta for, I don't know, 7 to 10, and went to college in Alabama. So I lived all over the South. So that's how I'm familiar. But we went from
Shoney's.
Did you? Okay.
Captain D used to be owned by Shoney's back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And when I worked at Captain D's, we served Shoney's breakfast.
Yeah.
As you know now, Captain D's does not serve breakfast.
No. In fact, there was one. Someone told me there's a Captain D's left too.
We have them here.
Yeah, still have them there.
Yeah, they still have them in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Kentucky. There's one in Frankfort, Kentucky.
That's probably where it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there in Frankfort. It's right next to the Bluegrass Inn.
Okay.
So we go there quite a bit because we like to go to Buffalo Trace Distillery. So our spirits, haunted location with spirits. So
that's good.
Spooky Ookie asked, or Spooky Okie.
Spooky Okie. Yeah.
They ask, what is the last place that you've investigated?
Me, last weekend. So I'm connected with the El Reno Elks Lodge. I've helped them out with a lot of research and other things, and I am there investigating paranormal all the time there. I've been there 9 or 10 times now since I want to say since August or September, doing investigations. The building there was actually moved from the St. Louis World Fair over to El Reno. So it's got a real crazy history to the building as well. And the Elk Lodge actually had been there since that building got put in El Reno.
So what town is that in?
It's in El Reno, Oklahoma.
Okay. Because I know that there's another building that they moved from the St. Louis Fair, the World's Fair, to Alton, Illinois, built by the Quakers.
So the World Fair in St. Louis allowed everybody to build their buildings, but they required that they had to have everything off that property by a certain time. And originally the World Fair was going to be 1903, and it got pushed back because of I think it was storms or something that came in and caused some delays. Well, during that time frame, once the World Fair ended, because back then the World Fair was like almost a year long, but once it ended, they'd have an auction if you weren't taking your building. No one bought the building during auction, they'd flatten the building. And so that's what happened with the building in El Reno. It actually hit a point where they're about to auction it. And the representative from Oklahoma reached out to Elk Lodge and said, come buy this. You need it. We need to move it to El Reno, put it down in a few lots out there right on one of the main streets.
That seems like quite a long ways to move. But like I said, over to Alton, that wasn't very far, but it was far enough.
I was just say it's probably pretty close to St. Louis. Then how far is
It's
Alton?
just across the river.
Okay. Yeah. So they put this one, disassemble it, put it on a train, and rode all the way to Hotel Reno.
I guarantee that they had all the pieces already numbered, so they knew how to put it together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's interesting because when you go into certain areas of that building and you go to the crawl spaces, you can see the rafters the way they've laid them out, and the top of the building. You could kind of tell there's the top of the building. Like it looks awkward the way they've got the setup. So it looks like it got disassembled and they laid out, like you said, numbered it, structured it to where they could put it together like it needs to. It's really, I was there. I went to the crawl space, I guess, January, and I still want to go back there just to try to figure out why it looks the way it does.
Yeah, those types of buildings are engineering feats. And I don't know if people really realize how hard it is. I mean, you've seen people move buildings down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if everybody's seen it, but I've seen it. I've seen them do it in Maryland and Arkansas and in Kansas City, where they just get the whole house jacked up and they drive it down the road to take it to another place. But to actually take it apart and rebuild it someplace else, I think is a bigger feat than moving the whole house.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch those kind of things get moved, especially when you're driving down the interstate and they block you.
Well, we've had that happen with the windmills.
Oh, yeah.
Hate those things.
Oh, yeah.
So they weren't as they promised.
Yeah.
They sold them a bill of goods.
Yeah. You brought up a thought there, too. So if a building gets moved from a location to another, do the spirits follow them?
I think it depends on if the spirits were attached to the land or the home or the building.
Yeah.
So did the people love their land more than they loved their house?
Right. What's more important? What was some pivotal?
Or did the truck that was bringing the house to the new location hit somebody and plow them down and brought it with them?
Yeah.
I know I'm a sick puppy.
Oh no. My brain goes everywhere.
I mean,
you never know. We can't
prove
everything. We can prove some things, you know.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't know why. I mean, what is the history of this Elks Lodge? Because we hear stories. Ron's mentioned this many times about elks, moose. Not the animals, the drunks and the lodges and all that. And I am a product of the Loyal Order of the Moose. So you also got VFW halls and other things. Why are these places so haunted? Is it because they were loved so much by the people who went there all the time? This was their family. Is that why they're there? Were they, there's all kinds of questions. Hi, Colette.
Well, so with us, for Elks Lodge in El Reno, it's interesting because we've, I've not got evidence yet of the members. There's one spirit that we've communicated with, more witnessed as a shadow than anything else. But he also is legendary for that building as a thin guy, very professional looking, who shows up. But we have 2 children who show up all the time. So we have a sprinkler.
I started hearing noise and the sprinklers are coming on. It's Monday night at 7 something. Yeah. I was like, what in the hell is that sound? Like,
especially when it hits the leaves right next to your window.
Yeah. Well, when we bought the house, we had it set up to go off on Mondays at 7 because we knew that no matter what, we would be here.
Right.
And we could stop it if we needed to. And all of a sudden I'm hearing the sound and I'm like, is that a fly? Must be a really big ass fly.
You saw one earlier. So, I mean,
Well, I've
Yeah.
also seen another light go across my bedroom. So,
I mean,
but while we're talking, we got
Yeah.
Tom. He just asked a question. Have you ever come to Chicago for any investigations?
strangely enough, I visited there very fast for a weekend and did not have a chance, but I am dying to get up there to investigate. Have
Well,
you?
hopefully you don't have to die to go.
Yeah, right.
So, but
But I am
Tom
dying to go.
Tom used to do
Yeah.
tours. He helped do some tours at the Joliet.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So, yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah. The place that
Blues
gets
Brothers?
me is, yes. The place that fascinates me is H.H. Holmes and the history with him.
I am friends with Jeff Mudgett.
Really?
Tom had a paranormal event that he was part of, and
Yeah.
we went to it and we got to meet Jeff.
Oh, it's
And
awesome.
Jeff told me, he sent me a message one day and he goes, "Hey, I'd like to talk to you to see if you want to be part of this." And I turned him down, but
Yeah.
because he never lived with his serial killer grandfather, great grandfather.
Yeah, I would say
I did. I lived
Did
with
you
my
really?
serial killer grandfather.
Oh
And,
wow. Okay.
So it's a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
But again, as a child, I did not know. I did not know until I was around 18, 19 years old
Oh wow.
that my grandfather was technically a serial killer. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so Colette, you're coming again in 2025. We moved to Florida. We're not near Missouri anymore. So, but I hope you have a great time. And if you make it to Florida, let me know. So there was one other thing I wanted to say tonight before I forget. Happy birthday, Rhodey. So I hope you're having a great birthday and that you have a safe trip back from Florida to Houston. So we didn't get the chance to see her.
Oh.
Didn't have time, but that's okay. She still came out. She's been a fan of mine for a long time.
That's awesome.
She always made me feel special.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
So, hey, Barbara.
Also, Chris's wife said hello a minute ago too. So Shelby, hi.
Yeah, hi, Shelby. How are you? I hope work is treating you well, and I hope you had a good dinner tonight. Get to eat it all without Chris being there.
Unless she's with them.
Well, I know she does do some of that. I think sometimes she goes to those meetings with him.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so.
So
periodically.
We are doing well, and I'm glad to hear it. They had me worried back in January.
Aww.
So, where is your favorite place to investigate?
The place that I really like to go to is actually a tuberculosis sanatorium. It's in Arkansas. So you have Waverly in Kentucky, and then there's another place in Arkansas that to collect evidence is. I haven't listened to my audio or videos for Waverly, just to clarify.
Okay.
But it is easier to me, and for what I feel with what happened, it's easier to collect evidence probably at that place than Waverly. But Waverly has much more personal experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing the things you experience there. But it's probably my favorite place. I've been there. I started going there in 2016, and go there at least twice a year now. Probably 3 or 4 years now.
And Steve asks, what place is best for evidence?
That place, if you're referring to between those two, the TB hospital I was talking about in Arkansas has
it's going to be quieter anyway.
Yeah. Well,
and
combination.
A friend of mine's doing an event there.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. The windows are closed in where Waverly is open, so the opportunity of collecting that evidence is a lot easier. The acoustics and things like that, you have a better chance of collecting evidence there.
Yeah, they're allowing our friend to actually say where they're at, and because this is one of those places where we cannot say where it is. I mean, I could.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
been there, but
Yeah.
I won't because out of respect. But it's
Mhm.
one of the places that's on our list there and going to Mina.
Yeah.
I
Nina.
want to go to Mina, Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
That-
Nemo.
because our friend did a film there, and
Okay.
in Mina, for some reason, they have the gambit. You got ghosts, you
Yeah.
got Bigfoot, you got aliens.
Oh, that's the perfect place. That's the perfect place to be.
They think it's the crystals. I mean, have you not seen
Yeah.
the land of the lost?
Oh,
Crystals do everything.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we have the Salt Plains, and I'd really like to investigate places around the Salt Plains in Oklahoma just to see.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, because you figure there's a lot of, I mean, that's what salt is. It's crystals. Is it drawing stuff? Is there a lot of claims of extraterrestrials or Bigfoots or anything there? So there's different places. I mean, I just found out through a post somebody made in the area that the road that we take between here and Navarre Beach, people are witnessing not witnessing UFOs. They're witnessing Bigfoot activity.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's
That's
like,
cool.
I never go down this road in the dark. Why? I'm going to the beach during the day. I'm not going to the beach at night. So
the mind is a fascinating thing when it comes down to those kind of things too, because a dark road could make somebody not want to go down it every time they don't think about it.
Yeah.
Like that process, like you mentioned, during the day, it looks comfortable. Well, let's go. Of course, you and I are different. If it's dark and creepy, we're probably going to go down that way.
Probably. The thing is the area that they're talking about is Air Force Base on both sides of the road.
Oh, wow.
It's all trees.
Yeah.
It's very heavily vegetated. There's a lot of vegetation in the area. Is it possible? Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also, we got 9 airports in the area. Most of them are helicopter. If they're out there, they could be out there looking around, and they'll know. If that truly isn't salt used for a trap for spirits. Not necessarily a trap,
I
but
didn't
it
think
can
it
be
was
used to keep them away.
Yeah, certain salts can be used that way.
And it depends on how it depends on your intent.
Yeah.
With the salt. It's the same as smoke. For some reason, you're better off having if you're going to use holy smoke, basically, if you're going to use sage, have it blessed first. It's probably going to work better than using regular sage.
Yeah.
If it truly is,
provided it's the right thing to use for that circumstance as well. Because sometimes it's not used to use it. Yep.
We've had people that have used that and it got worse.
Yep. Or it'll cause a pause. They will freeze, not move, be almost stalled, so to speak, and then also you get super active, or they go away, but they come back.
Right, because all it does is remove the negative spirits and nothing else is there, so it comes right back because you have empty space.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, if you're going to do that, then make sure you burn sweetgrass to put positive and put something in that empty space.
Yeah.
But I also do something that's kind of unusual. I'll use lilac because it gets rid of the negative and it brings in the good all at one time, and you're done, and it smells good. And
pleasant aroma.
Same as Palo Santo wood, same sort of thing.
Oh yeah, Palo Santo, yes.
If you can keep it lit long enough.
True. Yeah, I had a family that they were going through the craziest stuff in the attic, and they were allergic to sage. So Palo Alto's wood is what we use there.
Well, I found out about the lilac because my mom had COPD. And she was a smoker and stuff, but I couldn't use more smoke.
Oh wow.
So I
Yeah.
used lilac,
That's
and
good.
it seemed to be the best solution to the problem. And so, like
Yeah.
with real estate people, okay,
Yeah.
they
Oh
can't
yeah.
they can't go in there and burn this stuff. So I
Right.
tell them all the time, just go buy the little lilac spray at the with the natural oils in it from Walmart for
Yeah.
$3 or $4, and your problem solved.
Right.
And I've been told that this our one real estate agent friend, she does it in every house.
Yeah.
Every house.
That's
And
good.
she says, she goes, I sell them. She goes, I haven't had a house on the market more than 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
So Steve Foster asks, do you use a lot of equipment, and what's your favorite piece?
So I do the group that I am with right now, we do a lot of tours, more investigating. When I investigate, I have just a few different devices. I try to use things that have multiple metrics. I don't want to use something that just does EMF. I try to do other things. So the EDI device, which offers metrics for temperature, barometric pressure, humidity, as well as the GeoVibe and EMF, like that whole combination. It's all in one small box. I use that a lot. Also, you can record with it, so I really like it. And then bought a $30 piece of equipment. Spooky Okie knows me; she'll laugh. But I bought a $30 piece of equipment that's like a tri-field meter, and it reads radio waves, electromagnetics, and it reads just magnetic frequency. I use that thing now almost all the time because mainly for the radio waves. Everything else we have is always EMF, EMF, EMF. This does something different for me.
Yeah, I have an RF detector.
Yeah.
So it, because a lot of times, we would get at the Sally house, it was weird. We would have phone calls would come into my phone from somebody else, from somebody, and they had no proof that they ever called me. You look at their phone and there's no call on her phone, or my phone would call out to her, but there'd be no proof on my phone that I called her, but yet she had a message from me.
That's crazy.
And so sometimes that is helpful.
Yeah.
It also sometimes, without knowing that there's radio waves, there could be interference that people aren't thinking about. There are still ham radio operators out there.
Yeah, very much.
That can break into your walkie-talkie. I've had it happen.
Yeah.
So people need to understand that, and that it happens.
Yeah.
Shelby's talking about the storms that they're getting right now.
Mm-hmm.
We've had storms that happened at the Sally house that hyped up the house.
Yeah.
Nothing was going on, and suddenly a thunderstorm comes through, and boom, you've got activity that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
And does an RF detector? Yes, it does, Steve. It picks up cell phones as long as it's on and sending out. It has to be on, though.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of things you don't realize radio waves are impacting it. And if you don't have something measuring that, you think your equipment's going off because of other reasons. And the radio waves can do it too.
Microwaves are like that as well.
Oh, yeah. Microwaves. Yep.
I mean, you don't realize that the antenna that's on a house could be caught, picking up both.
Yeah.
It's just the way. I mean, I used to blow up cell phones for my job. And so we used a pizza oven is what we called it. But it was one of those ones that would pound the living crap out of your phone with different kinds of waves. And we had a microwave tower on top of the building.
Wow,
so I knew where, how all this stuff kind of worked. I didn't know exactly, but I knew that if I was around the microwave tower, if I was behind it, I was fine, but I always felt sick.
Wow.
The radio waves can do the same things. The radio waves can actually cause, people are going to laugh, but they can cause headaches.
Yep.
Especially if you have any kind of metal in your teeth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why now.
Titanium rod in my mouth.
Oh, do you really? Oh, wow.
So I
you go
know.
through some stuff. Yeah, you do.
But it can mess with your feelings too. And
Yep.
if you've been abducted, it might also mess with the chip in your head.
Yep. Yeah, the teeth, I was watching somebody and they changed from the metallic or the lead fillings now because of that reason too. They discovered that.
Yeah, the lead fillings they did away with because it was poisoning
Yeah, it
us
was poisoning.
when we were kids. So thank
Yeah.
God they did away with that.
Right.
Let's see. Steve says there was an investigation he was at and the equipment was going off. Come to find out, someone outside in their car on their cell phone. As soon as they were done, the equipment went quiet.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing with REM pods too. REM pods, if you use a walkie-talkie, you don't have to be in the range of the REM pod; it'll go off. And that's a perfect example again of something. The REM pods supposedly have a range, and they're not supposed to take anything outside of it. But we've proven that a number of times it's not the
They're
case.
360 anyway. I mean,
Right.
they're getting. I mean, most of the things that are out there are 180.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
that's true.
220, but but hardly
But
anything.
not
is
360. Yep. And that's, waves. I mean, it's just the same thing. Walkie-talkie waves are not like it's bouncing. So that reaction is all about the wave going through that system too.
Yeah.
Technically.
Right.
Could be.
And they don't I mean, you have to know your wave form
Yeah.
to understand it. And the clouds can mess with radio waves. It changes them
Oh
out.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to say hi to Elizabeth from Illinois. Thank you so much for listening.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
also, Steve said something about the best equipment. My favorite equipment are two things: video or audio. That's the primary ones I would go with, because your recorder is going to catch most of your stuff. If you have video, I don't have it unfortunately, but if you have video, I use my cell phone on a tripod and try to record as much as I can with it. But those are the things that I want to use primarily. Everything else there's a hierarchy from what I use all the way down to the basics, using EMF equipment all the way down to, if I have to use an app on a phone, I will do that. But that's like my last priority.
well, the main thing is on the apps is if you can read code, you can find out how it works.
Yep. Well, can you open up the app to find the code? Because I didn't know how I could find a tool that would allow me to see the source.
Yeah, I've been able to do that because of the type of job that I had.
Yeah, be my hero. That's what I've been dying to do, is read the code.
You have to look for stuff that doesn't triangulate, doesn't use your location, doesn't have a microphone that's listening to you,
right.
Things like that. Those are the things that I don't want my app to be recording. So like we utilize Echovox. We don't use it on the record mode because then it has to have a mic. We don't, we keep it on doesn't have a mic, and we keep it that way. We don't have locations on because we don't have internet on it. The only place we have internet is at home. So once we leave our house, unless I turn on my hotspot on my phone, it's not going to have anything.
Yep.
So there are lots of things that you have to look for.
Also, I'm not a word bank guy. I don't like the word bank things. The syllabics or the ones that have word banks, it just doesn't help me authenticate. That tells me that it's actually picking up on stuff they've got stored. It's entertainment. It's not something, I mean, all of it's entertainment, but it's not going to be something I could qualify as authentic equipment to use or anything even close to that on my hierarchy
now,
list.
what we use it for mostly is part of the validation.
Right.
There has to be more than one thing that equals the answer. You know, I'm not sitting there, now if I say something randomly in another room and the Echovox is in the other room with my husband, because he's the one that has it.
Right.
If I walk in that room and he says, this just said this, and somebody who's with me saying, hey, your wife just said that, and I don't hear him and he doesn't hear me, there may be some validation to that,
Right.
because I'm going to see stuff sometimes that nobody else can see.
Yeah.
And so who knows? But Carl asks, which apps do you feel are that you would use?
So I've used, it's so hard to know. Like I'll clarify again. I put that on my 0 to -1 go-to list.
Right.
So if you're going to go to an app, I've used Sono X10. It doesn't use a word bank. To my understanding, it may, but it does radio frequency, which I can go with something that has a spirit box style to it more than I can something else. So I do use it when I need to use some type of spirit box if I have to go to a phone app. The Ghost Tube supposedly is made by paranormal people. Some of the people that are in the group that I'm in currently, they like that one. You'll see the Ghost Seer SLS app. All those things are part of that group. Spiritus is interesting, but there's too many voices. I've done a lot of evaluations of different things. I've never analyzed them as well. There's a gentleman who's done that. I'm trying to get in touch with. I'd like to talk to him about those things to see what he's discovered, which ones work the best, which ones don't. But that kind of gives you. I've tested Ghost Radio, Ghost Radar, Ghost Tube, Spirit Talker, Necrophonic, Necrometer, Spiritus, Sono X10. I've gone through a lot of different ones to see what answers I get. A lot of them are either the microphone's on, or a lot of them are just too random. There's too many random answers to say, yeah, they work.
Yeah, the word "the" is said a lot.
Yes. And Ed is said over and over
giving
again.
you a bunch of one-syllable words.
Yeah.
You got a problem. But, I agree. And Ron agreed with the too many voices.
Yeah.
There. And I find it funny that people think that the voice that they pick is going to be, it's a female.
Yes. It's easy to associate. I mean, I can respect it. I objectively kind of look at things and think, okay, would I have done that when I was first starting? Or, even talking now, it's easy to pick that up and think that way because you hear that voice and your brain automatically wants to see that way.
So, Steve, that's called the Estes method.
Yep.
So
another really good one is Gensfeld method. I think it's called Gensfeld, isn't it? The ping pong balls.
It depends on how you say it, where you put your accent or your long.
Yes.
But, I've seen people do the Gansfeld method. I've been part of the Estes method.
Yeah.
We're friends with Katie Stafford, so we've done some other really weird things.
Cool. Yeah.
Where he's put like his helmet, his God's helmet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On me. And
wow.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was kind of like watching a movie, but it's but I made him bring it. I mean, let's be honest. I told him he had to bring it to this event so I could try it. I told him I would be his dummy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, but not realizing it could cause a migraine.
Oh, wow.
All the flashing lights in there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I lucked out and didn't get a migraine.
Thank
But my husband told me that he goes, that's going to cause a migraine. I lucked out and I didn't get a migraine.
I heard him in the background say that to you. He's like, I told you.
That's the spirit of the house. Anybody want to see him? There he is.
Told you so.
What was your scariest moment? Shelby asks.
Scariest moment. I don't. Shelby, tell me if I gave you one. I don't tell the story. So probably the weirdest moment for me was the submarine in Muskogee, the Batfish. I was sitting in a galley against a wall, and I had photography, because I do photography work. I had photography equipment with me, and it's sitting on the other side of the table. It was like 3:34 in the morning. The rest of the group had gone to sleep in a separate room. And I'm just sitting there and trying not, I snore so loud, I'm like, I'm not going to sleep. So I just sat there determined. And suddenly there was a noise, and I thought, okay, well, maybe that was just my stuff. Well, I have the audio of the soldiers. You could hear the footsteps go over, open it. It sounds basically the way I gathered it was they opened a door, grabbed something, twisted the top, drank from it, shut the top, shut the door, walked back, and then the cook started cooking in the kitchen and started talking to somebody as the soldier ran. I'm the only one there awake, and it's happening right in front of me. That's probably one of the spookiest or most awkward feelings I've gone through.
And you didn't have it recorded or anything.
I have it on audio.
You do?
Yeah, I have it on audio.
That's amazing, because usually that's when you don't.
No, yeah, exactly.
And Ron, Barbara, and Steve both say hi. And I'm pretty sure Susan and Mike do too, but I haven't. They may have said it earlier.
The other time would be Overholser Mansion. I had just joined a group. I was new, and they were like, you're going to go through a 90-day probation where you just follow us through the tours. Okay. And the person I was with said, you're leading. And I went, what? So I had a group of girls. I was like 3 or 4 girls in the group. There's like 12 people in the group. We sat them down in a room, and I hadn't been in the Overholser Mansion. This is my first time there. So I'm explaining to them, it's okay, let's sit you down. We'll get started doing our investigation. So we can go through the process. And the girls kept bouncing around. And I said, okay, the sooner you sit down, the better. And I turned around to tell the 4th girl that, and she was gone. And I looked right at my partner, and she looked at me, and she said, what's wrong? And I said, there was a girl here, about 5'2", white dress, hair in a bun, had glasses. And she said, did you see me? I said, no. She said, you saw a full body apparition. Keep going. I'm like, okay. So the Overholser Mansion, they call that you're ghosted when that happens. That means Mrs. Overholser comes to visit you because she wants you to come back.
Oh.
So yeah. So I saw
But
a full
how do
body
they know
apparition.
that? How do they know that?
Yeah. So I asked the curator, it was about a week or 2 later, I'd gone back, and I said, hey, is there a woman that people see that's like 5'2", white? She goes, dress, yes, hair in a bun. And I was like, yeah. She said, yeah, don't worry, it's Mrs. Overholser. Because people have told that story for decades. Someone saw the same exact shape, same exact figure, whether they were outside, whether they were inside. But it's like, I heard the story from maybe 6 or 7 people, but yeah, who knows how many people really saw that same thing at different places in the mansion.
Well, I love the 90-day probation.
Oh yeah, isn't that funny?
Oh, and your first time there, you lead the tour.
I'm leading the tour.
It's like, I don't know anything.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
historically speaking, you know nothing about the location. And the first time I go someplace, I know nothing about it anymore.
Right.
I used to know everything that there was to know about it because I saw it on TV. Yeah. Well, now if I see it on TV, I don't remember. Okay, I don't. remember.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track.
There's too many things on there. Now, if I saw it on my soap, yep, I'm going to remember it. I'm going to know exactly what happened 30 years from now. But paranormal show, probably not. Yeah, just saying.
The group was funny with that part. The curator there, she does a great job. She'll walk you through a preview of a tour, and she'll tell you everything, so you can get that information. But yeah, being the lead of something, trying to tell them what the equipment is and not know what their equipment is, that's like how.
Well, Colette asks, if you were to come to the UK, where would you like to investigate?
I'm so open. I would ask you to go take me to wherever. I don't know the UK well, which is sad. So my lineage, I have one branch of my family that is from England. I don't know, or UK. I don't know where. Of course, I'm a big Liverpool fan. So anybody not a big fan of Liverpool, sorry. So I
I hate
definitely
the
want to
Beatles.
go to Liverpool.
I just hate the Beatles, so it doesn't
I
matter.
love the Beatles.
I know you
Okay.
said Liverpool. I mean, aren't they a tribute band?
Well, no, I'm actually a soccer fan, so I'm a huge.
Okay,
I'm a huge
soccer's
Liverpool
okay.
fan. But I'm also a Beatles fan.
Are you also a Tom Petty fan?
No.
Okay, thank God.
I don't hate him, but he's not somebody I go, oh, I want to listen to them. No.
And Colette's in Liverpool.
Oh, you're my friend now. But yeah, I do. I've seen, so I watch different paranormal groups that are at UK. I just have not, I've actually created a list of different places. I've not really looked at it because I'm not at a point where I'm traveling there yet.
Steve Foster says the sounds you recorded seems to be a residual haunting.
So here's the interesting part of that. It was great you said that. My group went back on the same day. Someone sat down at the same time and they didn't get it. So, which is perplexing to me because I believe it's residual, but I don't know what it's residual, what pattern makes it project itself. We haven't identified that. And the flood that came through that area, I don't remember what year it was. It was a few years ago. It caused a problem where it's now off the dock, so they're not doing any tours and they're not letting people in right now for investigating. So I'm kind of stuck wondering what it was for right now.
So there's a submarine in Oklahoma.
Yeah, USS Batfish. So
166.
I think it is. So they were going to bring it through. My understanding, I haven't really researched it, but my understanding is that it was going to go along the river to Tulsa, but it hit a certain point where it couldn't, and they took a detour or a reroute, and they put it where it is now near Muskogee, right near the river there. I don't know how far away it is from Route 66. I want to say it's near there somewhere, but I can keep track of Route 66 and where it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know there's a lot of weird things on Route 66.
Oh, yeah. Well, Elks Lodge in El Reno is off Route 66 in El Reno.
Well, see, that tells you something. But yeah, I mean, we've been on Route 66 from Springfield to past Seligman.
Wow.
Arizona.
Yeah.
So because we have friends in Springfield, of course, and more than likely, I mean, parts of St. Louis. I think St. Louis might even be part of it, but I don't know.
I thought,
but I know they extended it.
Yeah, I thought it turned north. I just don't remember where it was. I thought it went like to St. Louis, then north.
Well, Chicago. It's Chicago down to St. Louis, Springfield. What is the name of that town? I
guess I could sing that song, right? You ever planned to Motor West?
I don't know that one.
That's Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. I don't know the song.
Oh, it goes to St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City,
okay,
Amarillo, New Mexico. Yep.
And it hits Tucumcari. Because that town is a ghost town, most of it.
Where is it at?
And it goes all the way across. It goes through Flagstaff and Williams and Holbrook. And of course, that's not in order.
Yeah.
But Seligman is where they actually they're the people that went through all the trouble to get Route 66 acknowledged.
Oh, okay.
So they call it the birthplace of Route 66.
Yeah.
But I haven't
I learned something new today. Of course
random crap. I mean, we drove to Vegas a lot.
Okay.
From Kansas City to Vegas, and so we have to take parts of the old Route 66. And then there's a guy I interviewed years ago who investigated all these places along Route 66 in Arizona and New Mexico.
Yeah? Oh man, that had to be fun.
Oh yeah, I bet it is.
Oh,
so there's a tornado warning up there for Christopher, and Shelby.
Oh, is there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
So they're at the Osage Casino.
Okay. Remind me, is it tornado warning means it may hit? Watch is when it's actually coming through, right? I think so.
Warning is when
Is it reverse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Warning
I always
is
get that.
Yeah.
I did radio for years and still get it backward.
So yeah, that means that they're saying, hey, it's more than
okay.
likely going to happen.
Yeah.
Take cover, put your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye.
Right.
And watch means conditions are favorable. May or may not get hit.
Usually warnings is when I don't go out to take pictures.
Well, that's when Ron and Carl would be outside.
They take off there, right?
Hey, look, the sky's green. Oh, I hear a train. There's no train this time.
I get to that verge of, because I don't want to hit the hail hitting my car, hitting me. I'm like, I'll get right on the outskirts just enough, and then, okay, I'm in my car and leaving.
I'll tell you, there have been times I've gotten up in the middle of the night when I hear it pouring down rain, my car's outside, and I'm hearing it, and I'm going, it's going to hail. And I would go outside when I lived in Kansas and move the car into the garage, nightgown and all, come back in drenched.
Oh, yeah.
You know, did that. We had a friend of mine when we lived in Kansas City. He went outside. We were having 2.5-inch hail, 2-inch hail, something like that. It was real big. Yeah. He went outside to get his car brought in right before it started, and it started and bashed him in the head. He ended up getting knocked out. And by the time they got, I mean, he was beat up. I mean, it was horrible. So I tell everybody, don't play around with hail or tornadoes. It's horrible. So, but Christopher, take cover, make sure that you're safe. The bathroom is probably a good place to go.
I don't know. They're in the casino.
And in the casino, the bathroom is probably the best place to go.
It's probably the best place to go. Kitchen, you can choose a kitchen. Yeah, a kitchen would be good. Grab some food, you know.
Yeah, the safe. Ron says the casino safe is a really good place to go.
Yeah, just remember the blue ink is not, you know.
Yeah, you're using guaranteed door. Yeah, I'd say go in the cashier's cage.
Yeah, there you go.
You have to let you.
I mean, just get down low. Yeah.
Because you know that's not on the outside part of the building.
Right. Yeah, if it's in the center part. And most of those are going to be usually close to that area because they don't want to have it near the door.
And yeah, Barb, I did see your crazy hail. I said, hail no. Not for me. Yeah. So
where's Barb at?
She's in Jacksonville.
When was this?
Oh, really?
So, yep. So I haven't been over there yet.
Okay.
I've gone the other direction, going towards. I haven't made it to New Orleans yet.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, well, that's my family heritage. Where I was born in New Orleans. I didn't live there long at all, but my family's from like all the plantations and everything in that area.
Yeah, we've been there. It's just we haven't. We were gonna go last week, but there were no hotel rooms available because everybody decided that for spring break they'd rather go to New Orleans than Miami.
Yeah.
Since they're telling them, oh, can't drink in Orange Beach now.
Oh, really?
No liquor on Gulf Shores. Sorry.
Wow.
Pay $20 to park all day.
Yeah, that's a big change.
So yeah. So she's in Orange. She's in Middleburg.
Okay.
So it's near Jacksonville.
Okay.
And so we haven't gotten that far yet. Biloxi has been about it, and then west, or east, the furthest we've gotten has been Defuniak Springs and down to 30A.
Okay, 30A.
Got to go there.
Oh yeah.
The whitest, most reflective beach I've ever been on.
Wow. Okay.
You have to wear sunglasses.
I was going to say I don't know if I want to go there if it's that reflective.
It was. I mean, when we went the very first time, Ron had a hell of a time just seeing.
Yeah.
He didn't have sunglasses. I did, so I lucked out. But
I did that.
Beautiful.
I did that at the Salt Plains in Oklahoma. Got out there with all this stuff, and I think I forgot my sunglasses. That was the stupidest thing to do.
Talk about being snowblind.
Right. Yeah, that was really good. Walking around squinting, trying to find a place. That's really not a good thing.
Mhm.
That was
So,
dumb.
how do you feel about investigating cemeteries?
So I'm going to be the blunt paranormal guy.
Okay.
I fully believe the ethics of making sure that a place is not private. Trespassing is not something I support in any way. But there's a temptation when it's a public place to go in there and investigate. Like I love it even without investigating them. I love going to them.
The
So I just
history.
enjoy being in them. Yes. The history of it, seeing places, the people. So I've done a lot of research with El Reno, Oklahoma, and learning about that.
Thank you,
And so,
Colette.
and going to cemeteries where you know the names and the years is, I think, just incredible. But there's a cemetery that I was told to go to in Catoosa that I recently went to. The hard part is knowing if they're public, private. If there's chains, I don't go into it unless I have permission. If there's trespassing signs, there's anything that tells me that it's gated or closed, I don't go in them. If it's open and available, those are the ones I will probably go to.
So Tom McNicholas says you need to go to Bachelor's Grove. He knows how to get there.
Yeah.
And it's a historically haunted cemetery. Have
Oh,
you ever
really?
slept in a cemetery?
No. I'd be willing to if I could. Have you really?
And it was
Wow.
and it got down to 22 degrees, I think is what it was.
Wow.
So
what were your feelings? What'd you experience?
Cold.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what happened to me in the Batfish. It was like 25 degrees in there in January. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I bet. It was
Waverly was that way too. The wind was blowing through it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently the people who took it over people who were supposed to take care of it that didn't do much, I guess, during the time that they had it. But the people who own it got it back, and hopefully they'll get it all.
Thank goodness. Yeah, there's a Skytook Cemetery in Oklahoma is known. You'll hear the legendary story of the witch's grave, which I've sent out. I did a video posting against it, trying to tell people to quit doing it. That's the same problem. People go out there to do this investigation, put coins on top of it, do all these things. And I don't like disturbing the atmosphere. Don't mind, staying the night or doing things around a place that I know is safe, that's public. I don't mind that. But there's that level of it where you don't want to go. I don't like to go too far.
Yeah. The cemetery that we camped at is private, but they're the caretakers of it. So we had permission to be there.
Exactly.
The scariest thing is that it was hunting season. And some of the best deer apparently were in that area.
Of course.
It was colder. We didn't have to worry about snakes. So thank God for that.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing that we witnessed.
6 hours before.
Yeah, it was warmer 6 hours before. But yeah, I did some tree knocks trying to catch Bigfoot. We
cool.
saw different times. We've been out there a few times. One of the times we were out there, I saw some Native Americans looking at us through the trees. Another time when we were out there, we walked through the wooded area, and I felt like there was families buried in the mounds there.
Oh, wow.
Native American families. So unmarked graves, which a couple different people have verified that there are unmarked graves in this graveyard. There's a lot of things that are going on in this, but we did a remote one time, and I led the people at the cemetery to a portal.
Oh, wow.
Which was really weird because I didn't know I could do that at the time.
That'd been an interesting experience for you going through that and going, oh, look what I can do.
Well, a couple weeks ago, we went to a cemetery, and I told Ron where his dowsing rods were going to cross.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And he goes, "How did you know?" I said, "Because I saw the spirit standing there when you walked through them."
Wow.
And he goes, "Did you know you could do that?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, kind of." But I told him, and I also told him before he went any further, I said, "Your dowsing rods will not cross after you go past the middle of the road." And he starts walking, and they cross, and then they stop. They don't do anything anymore. And he's like, "Again, it's because I can tell you this," but they did not know. Nobody knew that there was possibly unmarked graves in there, because this cemetery it's been overgrown so badly for years.
Yeah.
We actually found headstones in the woods. We found crypts in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
And it was because of the Southern history.
Yeah. Wow.
Southern history. And this graveyard up here that was part of it was very nice and well kept, and this part was overgrown. But it's also in an area where it could get flooded during heavy rain. So it quite possibly could be related to that. But there was a racial element involved.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, and the funny thing is I didn't know as much. I don't know much history about it other than what our friend that we met there. Yeah. Some guy came up that lived in the area, showed her where the graves were in the woods. Wow. That's the only thing we had. We couldn't read the stones or anything. Yeah. We could see some years like 1836.
Oh wow. Okay.
These are some old graves.
Yeah.
So but yeah, it's just amazing the history that you're walking into when you go to a graveyard. And if you're lucky enough to be able to find that person on Find a Grave, and that somebody has actually said something about them, it's amazing. There's been a few times that I've looked up somebody on Find a Grave and there's not even a picture of their headstone. Yeah. And so I'll take a picture and add it. Yeah. For the person, or at least a picture of the graveyard that they're in. So they'll have that. But I have found some amazing stories just walking through the graveyard. We found one where a guy had been shot up here in Bruton. Yeah. And we found out about it while we were at the graveyard. And there was another one at the graveyard where we just went. This kid had been shot. I mean, I don't know what it is with the shootings, but this one was a retaliation. The newest grave in the place, was just like 10 years ago. Yeah. And that's crazy. So here you've got 1836. Right. And 10 years ago. But we've got some really interesting cemeteries. We have one here where we have a Revolutionary War soldier buried in it. Wow. And just down from there, a serial killer. And jeez. And in another graveyard, another one that's got a racial history. Yeah. Not taken care of very well, but the people who are taking care of them, taking care of their own families, doing what they can there. But we volunteered to help with a private cemetery in Pensacola over here near Ferry Pass. Oh, good. So we're going to do that. Well, I got to make sure I have good shoes for that. Yeah. Right. Rattlesnakes are big.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're talking about the private property one that you mentioned? Yeah. With what you're saying, it's like, well, snakes or anything.
Oh, yeah. Lizards, snakes, bugs. Right. It's going to be interesting.
I'm not a bug guy. I mean, I don't mind them, but, they irritate
millipedes.
Me. Oh, yeah. Millipedes no big deal, but they're kind of wild to look at. I just don't want them on me.
I got one in my front yard right now.
Do you?
And it's like, I think it's a millipede. It's black. It's got a million
Yeah,
legs.
it's got a little. Yeah, exactly. It's like almost looks
Ugly.
furry. Yes. Yeah. Those are big
Uh,
millipedes.
Yeah, they lose their bodies.
Yeah.
Or the outside falls off. It's like they molt.
Yeah.
I'm like,
They definitely look disgusting when they get that way.
yeah, I hope I never have to determine whether or not they're edible.
Yeah. I told
I
somebody, I
think some
said,
of them are poisonous.
yeah. Yes. I was going to say, I thought they were too. I told somebody, I said, Florida's the only place I know offhand where the farther south you go, the more the roaches make noise. Like those palmetto bugs. I've never heard things go scamper like those things.
Oh, I'll tell you, palmetto bugs are creepy, but
Yes.
cave crickets are worse. They
Really?
look like, yeah, and they're in your area. They look like a cricket swallowed a spider. And then
yeah. With the long, freaky things on them. Those things are weird.
Yeah.
I can't even call them a cricket. Like,
yeah, that's what they're called, though. They're called cave crickets.
Well, they need to go back in their caves.
Oh, they're horrible. I am. No. So
every time I see one out in a random place, I'm like, what are you doing out? What are you doing here?
And so how do we get past this as paranormal investigators? How do we get past bugs?
Bugs? A lot of off.
I tell you, at Missouri State Pen, I saw a spider bigger than my hand.
Okay, note to myself when I'm there.
Yeah. It was, I mean, some woman opened up a drawer in a desk and here was a spider in there. And it was like,
yeah. And it said, I'm in here.
Yeah.
Don't open the drawer. I'm in here. Yeah. No. That's not
occupied.
right. This is closed.
So it was disgusting. But this year we see cicadas all the time.
Oh yeah.
In Missouri and Kansas, and we had some last year, but I know this year it's supposed to be worse. But they're crunchy. Okay. They're really crunchy. Yeah. But I think it's funny to see their little carcasses stuck to the tree empty. Yeah.
Yes. The really weird part is when you get hit by one in the middle when you're doing investigation outside and you get hit by one. I can hear them, but they hit me and I'm like, oh, son of a gun. No.
People don't get how slimy they can be, though.
Oh yeah,
they can be.
The other ones that drive me crazy. So in Oklahoma, when you get into like Oklahoma City in that area, the wet, it's not as vegetation. It's dry in comparison to going toward the east.
Yeah, so, it's desert.
Yeah, southeast. My grandfather called them no-see-ums. The little gnats that hit you in the ear and keep going, like out of nowhere. Those things drove me crazy. So your question about how to get past them, you just got to deal with it. Stay in your car. Bug spray. I don't know. What do you do?
What do I do? I just keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I don't like the bugs and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I'm not phobic. I just don't like them.
I don't like them, but I'll still go out there and still do it. And I'll be brave while people are watching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The minute they're not watching, I'm going the other way.
Right.
I'm just saying.
When in the paranormal, you have a mission. Like, if something happens, it doesn't matter what things get in your way. You go to it.
Yeah.
I mean, within reason. I mean, if you hear a gun cock, I'm not going to go to the guy cocking his gun. But you hear a paranormal activity, you want to get toward it.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't matter what else happens. Now, I'm allergic to poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac. I could be stupid that way. That could be a bad situation. But you don't think about those things. You just, something happened.
That's why Ron didn't go back into the cemetery, into the overgrown part of the cemetery with me, because there was briars and brambles and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't 100% sure that there wasn't going to be poison ivy or poison oak. And sumac is huge. And another thing people don't know is if there happens to be mango trees, that's just big sumac.
Yes, it is.
That's all it is.
Yes.
So, a friend of mine went to Florida to see her parents, and they went mango picking. found out the hard
Oh
way that
no.
that it's poisonous. So,
Yeah.
and hey, Judy. So yeah, I mean, it's bad, but
Yeah.
you know, some of the places that we go are questionable.
Yeah.
How do you deal with possible mold, fungus? We already talked about bugs, rats.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I've had stuff run across my feet, and
Yeah.
I tend to not wear shoes. I tend to wear sandals, so I'm
Oh,
horrible.
yeah, you can experience that personally. No, thank you. I'm glad men don't wear sandals. That's one of the good reasons why. I mean, some of us wear, flip flops or, whatever.
Flip flops with socks.
Right. Yeah.
Now, see, that's a horror movie right there.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that, but I don't think I'd like to go to investigation with just sandals on. Yeah.
I've done it so many times, it's pitiful, but
I would say you're probably used to it.
Honestly, how do you deal with that kind of stuff when you know that someplace that you're going may not be safe for you to be there? Do you take precautions? Do you
when you say not safe,
you decide not to go?
When you say not safe, what were you referring to? Can you give me an example?
Like black mold or fungus, or maybe there could be unsafe to walk in.
I take preventive measures as best I can. So like a black mold situation, it depends on the thickness of it, like how bad it is. I'll wear a mask. If there's asbestos in the building, I'll wear a mask. I'll do what I can.
If there's asbestos in the building, they shouldn't even let you in.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. True.
I mean, just think though, when we were growing up, what was in the walls of our houses?
Oh yeah. Yeah. What was in the what was the ceiling? Paint. Yeah. What was the ceiling? Oh yeah. Don't lick the windowsill. Why? Like, what was it, Tommy Boy? Yeah. Did you eat paint chips when you were a kid?
I grew up in New Jersey, so possibly.
Oh yeah, right. Tons of chemicals, trying everything out to make things healthier. But
we were the test dummies for years. I mean, our generation.
Well, I was about to say that our generation was the test dummies for a lot of things.
I'm surprised that we're all living this long.
In fact, we need to tell the younger generation that they're welcome.
Yeah.
Because we provided all the safety that they got afterward, because we realized the stupid stuff we were going through.
Yeah. They at least now give you something to push the cake out of the easy bake oven with, so you don't have to use a fork.
Right. Well, no, you've seen the meme where the woman says, they had reminders on milk cartons, or they'd had reminders on radio saying it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? Yeah. My dad was like, just make sure that you come back at a decent time. What's decent?
I remember those little things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 10 o'clock.
One of the things that got me was, Colette was just on here.
Yeah.
Looking at the ingredients in strawberries and cream oatmeal here and strawberries and cream oatmeal over there.
Yeah.
This doesn't even look like oatmeal if you're reading the ingredients, but theirs does. Why do they allow us to put all this crap in our food? There was
artificial flavorings. Everything's artificial. When we were doing it, orange juice was partially orange juice. I mean, you had some part, yeah.
Tang, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Everything's artificial.
I don't even think Kool-Aid sells like it used to. I mean, we had so much red dye in us, and now they find out that makes you crazy.
Yeah, yellow dye and red dye, and we had both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Until they outlawed it, and it's like, okay, I don't know. And it's just one of those weird things that no wonder we're not afraid of anything. We've already survived it all.
Yeah, that's it's like a lot of the videos that people say, my parents had me outside the backyard, the garden hose said, don't come in until I tell you to. we were drinking from a garden hose all the time to get our water.
And
We
peeing on the side of the house.
and peeing inside the house. I
And
mean,
now
you
we're
know,
going to jail.
yeah, exactly. Now they call because somebody's in the backyard playing. The kids playing in the backyard of their own house.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember some little boy running up and kissing me in kindergarten, and nowadays that'd be sexual assault.
Yes.
You know, and I don't get all of that, but
Yeah.
we went through so much as growing up that I guess we're just not as easily offended
Yes.
as we could be.
We don't care. Like those things, those sensitive things, they're fluffy. We don't care.
Oh yeah.
But then,
and the
but then,
garden hose.
yeah.
You know, as long as you let the water run for a minute first to push out anything that might be in there,
Right,
it's probably
right.
not a problem.
Right. Or if the garden hose had like a rip or a cut in it, you know, that might hurt your lip, you just drink carefully.
Yeah, if they use pliers on it a lot.
Yes. But then you have the reverse of it too. So it was kind of like, so the saying was, if you end up in trouble, I am not your parents. Which meant you make your own decision. Well, that made us logical in certain ways, where I think that the newer people that are in the paranormal that are just getting started in it think they could, oh, well, there's no trespassing. There wasn't no trespassing sign on the door. It's okay to get in. If you go into the front and you open the front door of somebody's house and walk in, is that not trespassing because there's no trespassing sign?
Well, you know,
it
depends on what state you're in. You're a squatter and you have squatters' rights.
Yes.
Not in Florida or Georgia anymore.
Yeah.
But
so that happened at Waverly.
That's not
they
right.
had squatters in the property, yeah. And they had to go through that kind of stuff.
It's horrible. The way things have turned out.
Yeah.
You know, I swear if somebody comes to try to squat in my house.
Yeah.
Ain't
Exactly.
gonna happen.
No.
You know,
yeah, they've got cameras now. They monitor. The moment you go near any of those cameras, that security is at that door. They don't mess around with that. Once that happened, they're like, no, I'm glad. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that considered a home invasion in some cases?
Right. Well, to me, you're trespassing the territory. I should have the right to shoot you.
Right. Like I said, if somebody goes to try to take my, squat in my house, I'm calling because it's a home invasion. This is my home. This is where I live. You were not, I mean, even if I said you could come in my house, I didn't say you could stay.
Right. So there's a place in Oklahoma City that anybody who's been doing paranormal for the last 5, 6, 7 years knows this place and knows the owner will fire his gun or the neighbor will fire his gun if you go in that territory and anybody sees you. They might not shoot at you. They'll scare the crap out of you shooting. Now, I don't know if they're shooting at you or not. They've not hit anybody, but the liability risk for that owner, for someone to trespass in there and go investigate and get injured, the story that I heard, I read in one of the newspaper articles is that financially they were in debt because of all the injuries that kept happening for people that were going in there, even though signs were up.
Yeah.
Well,
trespassing is horrible, and don't do it. I have never, as an adult, I have never trespassed. As a child, did not know what trespassing meant until somebody shot a gun in the general direction of where we were at, and we had walked across the farmer's field. To get to this other set of woods, and it was in Baltimore County.
Yeah.
I didn't know. After that, I did. I found out what no trespassing meant.
Yeah.
So I should have found out sooner.
Yeah. In a way, it's kind of life. I mean, the generation of people now are going through the same things that we did when we were younger. They're experiencing and going through whatever they're doing, and they're discovering, oh, that was bad. You know,
What has been, what do you think was the biggest lesson you got out of the paranormal?
There's a variety of different things. I find it interesting that when we get the message help, they never can tell us what they need help with. That to me is interesting. I don't know if that's a pattern everybody has, but we, very rarely do we ever get an answer from that.
Steve, Steve's right. Do you see what he has to say here?
What do you say?
It used to be, is there anything you own worth taking someone's life? Now it's, is there anything in that house worth losing your life over?
Right. That's
talking
a very
to the
good
person
perspective.
who's walking into your door.
That is very true.
That's a good way to put it, Steve. It's very, very clear cut.
Yeah. It's funny because have you ever seen a comedian that talks about the 80s to now? In the 80s, if someone knocked on your door, you'd bring the cake out, you get things, and you go over and answer the door, and you'd see who it was. In the 90s to 2000s, someone knocked on your door, you ducked behind the couch, you told somebody not to move. It was like a complete different transition in perspective, and that's kind of the reverse situation. But yeah.
Yeah, and see, I don't know. I just got to the point where I didn't answer the door because I didn't hear it.
Right.
And it's not because I'm deaf. It's because I was in the back of the house and just couldn't hear it. I had people come to my house and say, or call me and say, yeah, we came to your house. Where were you? I was in the back room. I didn't hear anything. Doorbell was broken. Sorry.
That was the other part of it. That was the other part. The hard part was if the doorbell was broken and they rang the door. Or the one broken, you didn't want to put your finger in there because you're afraid to get electrocuted.
That's ours. Do you know how many times the little Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts rang that doorbell?
Right.
They were the only ones that with fingers small enough to get into that hole. So guess who I always answered the door for them.
Yeah, I think our signs have changed from no soliciting to no trespassing.
Yeah, well, we have no soliciting or trespassing sign as you come into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the solar people can't read. I don't know how you're supposed to be able to sign a contract when they can't read to tell you where to sign.
Well, you could sign their name. Because they can't read.
Like I said, they just can't seem to be able to read that little sign. What?
Sign their name.
Sign their
name, And what's your name?
John Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you know?
I think
that's my name.
With your question, I think that's one of the things that's fascinating to me. Also, another thing that recently I've discovered is how people forget to continue asking questions. They ask to confirm that something's here, they get confirmation, and they're done. Like how easy it is for people to go into a place just to go watch the lights light up. And they completely forget that there's actually a purpose behind why they're there. Yeah,
I've seen where people don't come with enough questions. They're not really questioning anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I realize sometimes it's hard to come up with a question on the fly.
Right.
But I just treat it like I'm interviewing them, like I'm talking to you. I'm going to come up with a question. Something's going to come up where I'm going to have to, there always comes a time where I need to fill in some dead air. So I will find something to talk about. I will find a way to get an answer from somebody.
Yeah.
Rick Rose was the best.
Rick Rose was the best at asking random questions.
Really?
I mean, he would fire them off. He's passed now, but he would get them one after another, and David
Glidden's pretty good.
Yeah, David Glidden's really good at that too.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's because they know their craft very well, and they are good people for people to learn from.
That's good.
I just wish that Rick was still here to learn from him, but. The thing I learned from him the most was sarcasm, but I think he also got some from me.
Yeah.
So, but it's an amazing thing coming up with enough valid questions to ask a spirit. And
another thing too is the amount of time. People don't realize the amount of time that video produced paranormal shows take to get their evidence.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
like,
Ghost Adventures, when they went to the Sally house, they were there over a period of 4 days. Okay. They only showed 42 minutes.
Right.
So basically, they show you the best 42 minutes of the 4 days that they were there, whether it was paranormal or not.
Yeah.
It could be them goofing off, playing sword fights in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Which is what they did. Or it could be them actually investigating. And since that's the only paranormal show we got left, we better start watching it, I guess. But
true.
But
Project Fear spent a week at Waverly, and I think they said Ghost Adventure spent 20 days there shooting footage. It's like you said, just for an hour, that's it.
42 minutes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, because they watch the TV shows, they go into a place and think fireworks are going to go off. Ghosts are going to come dancing around in front of your face. It's going to be like the Haunted House Amusement Ride at Disney. It's like, no. I made a video at the very end. I said, paranormal investigating is boring.
It's fishing.
It's fishing.
I mean,
it really is.
That's what people need to understand is that it's fishing. You're not always going to catch something. Yeah. And the biggest thing for people to know is when you go in with a sense of humor. Make sure you have snacks and that you can entertain yourself in case there's nothing else going on.
There are several places where the spirits respond with jerk because I'd crack a joke at them, or crack a joke just to get a laugh or be lighthearted with them,
Oh, yeah. We get more activity when we're goofing off than we do any other time. Or when we're doing what we would normally do, like, sitting down, eating, maybe playing cards, whatever it is that you're doing, you may get more activity because that's what they want to be doing. Yeah. We had some spirits that we had that, they were drinkers. They like gin. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't, but we brought gin, gave it to them. Right. And did they drink it? Don't know. Did they smell it? Possibly. But I know that nobody in the room drank it because it was disgusting. That was the first thing.
I've been to one place where we put down a shot of whiskey and we put down tobacco. We actually put 2 shots of whiskey down and tobacco. One of them was half full when we came back. Could have been evaporation. But the chewing tobacco literally had a mark across the chewing tobacco and a finger. This place is camera security proof. Like they would know. That part was amazing to me. Those physical things always amaze me. Or when an abort happens, some equipment was one place and gets moved to another one. Those things mind boggle me.
It's the touching that I have the biggest.
Oh yeah.
Not fear, because I mean I've been scratched and pushed and things thrown at me so many times that it doesn't scare me. It just wakes me up.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, oh, okay, my blood's flowing now. Yeah. And Brandon, I do need to talk to you. So at some point you need to either call me or I need to call you. So I'm not a big phone person. It just is. I mean, I'm on the phone. Well, yeah, I'm on the phone every day. Headsets for 8 hours of meetings all day long. So one of my final questions to you is, do you have a day job?
Yeah.
What do you do for a day job?
So I'm a business analyst. So I do Scrum Master work for a small business. And I also am just a general business analyst, data reporting and those kind of things. And also photography on the side.
I understand. I am systems. Let's see.
Is it system analyst or is it somewhat similar?
I just got the title.
Oh, okay.
But I've been in telecom for 25 years. So I do
Oh, yeah.
analytics,
Okay.
big data, AI,
Yeah.
all that
Yep.
good stuff. So
Yep.
that's the reason why I can read code.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when you said that, I was like, okay, that's kind of the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can
So
read
I have a
some.
day job where I work sometimes up to 40 hours. It's just I'm new in my job and still learning it.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but it's an interesting field where
Yeah.
all your data equals something, and that's I find it odd to be in this world that is a definite.
Yeah.
In data, you've got stories that are being told,
Mhm.
but you've got definites in there.
Yeah.
Point A and point B, whatever formula you use, it's going to tell you the story that you need to hear
Right.
and make a business decision off of. Then we've got the paranormal where we are having to trust what we're hearing, seeing, feeling
Yeah.
when we're data people. We have to
Yeah.
have data. And I tell
Yes.
people that all the time. And in the paranormal, if you don't have data, you have nothing.
No.
So, like you said, you went to this submarine and you had this information, all this stuff happened this
Mhm.
one day in time. And you went back the same day in time and you didn't have anything. So what else could it
Yep.
be?
Right.
Is it just, what cycle is this residual data on?
Right.
And I think that the type of jobs that we have gives us a different perspective, and it makes
Yeah.
it harder for us to believe 100%. We're skeptical
Yes.
about what we're seeing because we're
Yeah.
thinking, what else could it be?
Yes. And we will investigate multiple times to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Even though we really should trust, we spend
Because
our time.
our mind is telling us
Yeah.
it can't be paranormal. It has to be normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you understand where I'm coming from when I
Yeah.
say the data. I
Yep.
need data.
Yep. Yeah. There's
So-
a gentleman who is on the team I'm on right now, and he'll literally ask 5 to 6 questions to verify.
Believe me,
yeah.
when we go to the Villisca Axe Murder House, we ask the same questions every single time to see if we get the same answer every single time.
Right. Yes.
So I think it makes a big difference that pen and paper that you brought with you that you think you're not going to use.
Yeah.
That's the part you should be using a lot more frequently. And especially if you go back.
Yep.
So, because you're not going to remember. You think you're
Yeah.
going to remember that I asked this question, but
Yep.
you're not. I mean, in fact, I probably asked you some really good questions and you're going to go, well, I'm going to remember that because I'm going to ask somebody that question someday.
Right.
And you'll forget.
Yep.
You already did.
Yep.
So that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So Steve Foster asks, where can you see Paranormal Perspectives?
So Paranormal Perspectives right now is through I don't know what's the name of that website that we're using all the time. The stream.
Well, you're using StreamYard, but you're broadcasting it to where?
Yeah, we have Paranormal Perspectives TV is where we should be broadcasting it through.
Okay.
And it's on Facebook.
And they've asked to broadcast through one of my links, and so as soon as I get that set up, you'll get notices. Since you follow me, you'll get those notices.
Yeah.
So,
and Chris and Shelby, sorry, I don't remember the other ones.
well, I think one is Christopher's. Isn't it Christopher's Facebook page?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Christopher's Facebook page. But you can find Paranormal Perspectives.
Yeah, just look it up and you'll find it there. So Paranormal Perspectives TV. And who's your guest this Thursday night?
I do not know. I don't even know if we have one.
I answer you that way a lot.
Yep. This Thursday night, we don't have one scheduled yet. So it's going to be Jack and I, and we'll probably talk about, actually, Jack just messaged me. I can look over and see what he says.
Hope he's okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Did you explain we had severe storms? We have severe storms coming in the wee hours too. Yes, I'm still with them. He's
So I
cracking me
just
up.
read them your message.
Yeah. So I just told them what you just said to me. But yeah, I'm sorry, what were you asking about that? Oh, so Jack and I are probably going to talk. I think I'm going to talk to him about talking about the process involved in a demonic situation. If you go into private investigations, the idea of getting away and talking about that situation and the encounters and experiences, and see if he'll talk more about what he's encountered and experienced. That's what I'd like to talk about, but we really haven't really discussed what topics we're going to talk about.
Well, it's interesting anyway. So
Yeah.
make sure you guys check them out at 7 p.m. Central Thursday night on Paranormal Perspectives TV. Join us tomorrow night right here on the Bill of Rights Network for Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal, with Carl, Ron, and myself, and maybe a guest. You'll have to tune in and find out. That's how I find out. Is if somebody shows up that I send a link to. So check that out and see what's going on. And just remember, join me every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for the Paranormal Pride, but not next week. I want everybody to say a prayer for me during the eclipse for my surgery to turn out great. Otherwise, get with Ron and find out when the funeral is. Okay.
Aw.
I'm trying to be positive, and it's hard. So I'm scared to death. That's all. I'm just scared to death of going through this. So you guys, check us out tomorrow night. And if you have any questions or want to send me any prayers, please do. And
We'll do a Facebook.
Oh,
Facebook funeral.
Facebook funeral? Oh, okay.
I'll have to open a new.
Ron will have to use my Facebook to do it. So I'll have to teach him how to use Facebook before I go in for surgery. So that'll be funny.
Just write the steps down.
Yeah. 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 Because, people who do data just love technical writing.
Right.
We can tell you how to do it all day. We're not writing it down. I'm sorry. That's just not the way we work.
Exactly.
So, but yep, we'll see you guys all tomorrow night. Have a great night and enjoy the eclipse, but say a prayer. That's all I'm saying. Love you guys. Have a great night.